But he's got meat between his ears.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, sir.
Yes, have some.
All right, welcome to it, the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. We're streaming live on YouTube, the YouTube channel, very easy to find. Just go to YouTube and find Nation of Jake. Boom, just like that, run it all together. Nation of Jake on Facebook, Nation of Jake on Twitter. Wherever you go online, Nation of Jake should link you right back here on this Monday, June 24th, year of our Lord, 2019. Partly cloudy, 81 degrees or thereabouts. Your high is 85 or so. Hope you had a good weekend. Now that we have to catch up here on Monday, my weekend was full of, kids partying in the pool, trying to keep up with the Rugrats and whatnot. The one thing that I'm kind of worried about is this morning. Look, I look on this weather app and I do a fair amount of complaining about it. It said it was going to be cloudy all day, and then we're going to have nothing but thunderstorms for the next year on my weather app. And now it's sunny, somewhat. And so my kid's out there, and she's going swimming today at camp, and I didn't put any sunscreen on her. I sent her with some sunscreen, but at 7, my kid's very smart, and I think she has enough sense to put sunscreen on if it's sunny and she has none on. But she's also 7, so I'm not sure if she'll just say, well, you didn't put sunscreen on me, so I got burned. And so I'm kind of dreading whether or not she'll be burnt up when she gets home today. Hopefully not, because, man, I've told you the story before. When I was a kid, we ran around with no sunscreen on, came back in, we would blister and peel, and it was pretty miserable. But then you'd tell your parents, as you're growing up, saying, hey, who the hell's watching me? Why don't you put sunscreen on me? They're like, son, we didn't have sunscreen when we were your age. And they didn't. Sunscreen's relatively new when it comes to, it used to be where they put suntan lotion on, something to enhance your skin's ability to absorb the rays and burn you to a crisp. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to at 3:30 or so when I pick up my daughter. Hopefully she had enough sense to screen herself from the sun. But in the meantime, plenty to cover. We'll try to get to as much as possible, including the latest from Washington, D.C. New sanctions on Iran as a result of that the drone that was shot down. They say international waters, or we said it was an international airspace. They said, no, it was in Iranian airspace, but now there are consequences for that. There's also more out today on the battle for Tom Lee Park. Now, this is something that's not going to go away. We're not going to talk about the battle for Tom Lee Park every day. However, there was a long article in the Daily Memphian about Tom Lee Park, and it's worth getting into here in a little bit, as well as there's been a development in the battle mayoral. Yeah, October 3rd, there will be a mayoral race leading up to that between Jim Strickland, the incumbent,
Mayor! Mr. Strickland!
Willie Harrington, and then also Tammy Sawyer and a few other candidates in the battle mayoral. Well, Jim Strickland and Willie Harrington crossed paths over the weekend, and the results were hilarious. We'll get into that in a little bit. Tons of headlines in the news crews. But first off, this is debate week. That's right, debate week. An entire week. It's kind of like the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, the whole week leading up to the debates. A 2-night event that's going to be splitting up all the candidates 10 and 10. There's different brackets, an orange group and a purple group. And this will be, like I said, a 2-night extravaganza on NBC and the family of networks owned and operated by NBC. So 20 of the 24 Democrats running for president are set to participate in nationally televised debates. But at this early stage of the primary, Americans are directing most of their attention to just 5 of them. Of the 24 running, that's right, 24 Democrats running for president, 20 will be debating, but most Americans are only concerned with 5. Joe Biden has led in the polls against his rivals, arguing that his experience makes him the best positioned Democrat to defeat President Trump in 2020. Yet in recent days, Mr. Biden's shifting position on federal funding for abortion, his nostalgia over working with segregationist senators, have drawn more attention to his long legislative history and given other candidates a chance to stand out by confronting him. So look for that. That's one thing to look for in the debates on Wednesday and Thursday, or whatever night Joe Biden is on stage. Even the night he's not on stage, there's a target on his back as the front runner, and they are going to take aim at Joe Biden using his long legislative history against him. After Mr. Biden, you've got Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, and California Senator Kamala Harris are in a clear tier above the rest of the candidates in recent surveys. Multiple national polls released in June have shown those 5 candidates atop the field in roughly that order, with Mr. Sanders and Ms. Warren and Mr. Buttigieg and Ms. Harris trading places in a handful of cases. All right, so it's just kind of like, depending on the week, there's Biden and then these other 4 or 5 that are atop. Now, the Cory Bookers and the Hickenloopers and the Gillibrands and the Klobuchars, it's kind of like failure to launch. I mean, those folks are just going to kind of be there. You know, at some point, they're going to direct questions to them just out of pity, out of, hey, we hadn't talked to this person in a while. They've got no business on the stage. But we'll ask them a question anyway, just to make it seem like there's some fairness in these debates. Now, a Wall Street Journal NBC News survey this month found the number of likely Democratic primary voters enthusiastic about Miss Warren has risen slightly since March, and then also with Mr. Biden and Ms. Sanders has dipped. So Elizabeth Warren is kind of rising in the polls a little bit more as Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders kind of fall. And look, these debates, you know, after you get through all the garbage, you got the 5 who matter and the 15 who don't. This is all about staying relevant, staying in the spotlight. Because after these debates, you're going to see some separation and you're going to see where the dollars are going to go. There are a lot of donors who have given some money. They've spread it around a little bit, hedging their bets, so to speak. Joe Biden has probably raised the most money. He's got the deepest ties. He knows the most people. But this is all about fundraising and staying in the spotlight, some combination of the two. One leads to the other. You can stay in the spotlight. You can convince more people to give you more money. And also, don't forget all the advertising for NBC. All right. And by the way, we talk about this stuff every day. All these debates and the Democrat nominees, we make fun of them. We kind of lampoon them. We put the spotlight on them. But most people don't care at this point. Most Americans, it's not even on their radar. I'm just going to go out and say it right now. Most people, the people who do care about it, are very loud. You know, Donald Trump is in every headline, in every news source. So you think that this is number one in people's minds. Like everybody's going to be watching these debates. It's not the case. Even if they pull big numbers on NBC in these debates, most people are not watching the debates. It's just the way of the world. So you've got the largest Democratic presidential field in modern history. So they're going to look for separation early to get the spotlight and to get that money. Because check this out. They're saying that candidates who can't break into the news cycle and the fundraising cycle risk running out of money before the end of the summer. If you run out of money before the end of the summer, there is no primary for you because the Iowa caucuses, New Hampshire primary, all that stuff doesn't take place until February. So it seems like a long way off, but this is where they got to get that money. Several Democratic strategists believe it could cost campaigns $50 million or more to fund an operation that'll be competitive enough through at least Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Nevada. Those are the first states where the primaries are held. Mr. Biden, that'd be Joe, serial sniffing, plagiarizing flip-flopper, was one of the last entrants into the race. He announced his presidential bid on April 26th. Since then, he has focused primarily on raising money, telling about 100 people at one of 4 New York City fundraisers he held last week, "I need you very badly. I need you very badly." He suggested to a separate room of donors that his fundraising strategy is paying off, outlining that an average contribution and number of donors that amounts to a haul of around 20 million. Think about it. Joe Biden's been able to raise 20 million. He's going to need 50 million to get through the summer or to get into February. Donald Trump raised 25 million in one day after he had a rally in Florida when he launched his re-election campaign. just to put the numbers in perspective. Now, other campaigns have declined to share their latest fundraising figures. But Mr. Buttigieg, and here's where it gets good. Mr. Buttigieg, Mayor Pete, told donors in a call last month that he had raised $7 million in April alone, matching his fundraising for the first 3 months. But then he left the campaign trail to go tend to his day job as mayor of South Bend, where a white police officer shot and killed a black man on June 16th. So Mayor Pete says, hey, I'm leaving the campaign trail. Follow me, though. Follow me and put the cameras on me as I work through this very relevant problem that we're having a national conversation about in my town of South Bend. That did not work out very well for Mayor Pete, because now the headlines are, is Mayor Pete over? Is he done? Mayor Pete went back to South Bend and he had some kind of town hall with a Black Lives Matter group. And it did not go well for Mayor Pete. And here's why. Not so much that anything he said was wrong, it was the way that it looked. You can't be a presidential candidate, or at least a viable one, if you look like a little kid. If you look like a little kid who can't handle himself, who cannot lead, you're probably not going to be able to be elected president. Here's what happened when Pete Buttigieg went back to South Bend, Indiana. Now, these are the people who elected him mayor. This would be like Jim Strickland talking to a group of people from Memphis. You see Jim Strickland out, you say, hey, Big Jim, how's it going?
Mr. Strickland, man!
You know, you're very close to this local government. So when Pete Buttigieg, who is the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, goes back to South Bend and he is confronted like this and reacts like this, it's not going to be good for his prospects as president. Check it out.
I do not have evidence that there has been discipline for racist behavior in the case of one.
And you running for president?
But if
You truly running for president and you black people to vote for you?
But if an
You running for president and you want black people to vote for you? That's a downfall. That's not going to happen.
I'm not asking for your vote.
You ain't gonna get it either.
Boom. I mean, what's he saying? He's reading from a prepared statement. He's from the people who want answers, because apparently the police department under Mayor Pete Buttigieg in South Bend, Indiana, they've tried to make it more diverse. It has not gotten more diverse. And then now he takes time off from the campaign trail in order to tend to this problem he's got in his own town. Well, here's the thing about it, Pete Buttigieg. It's not just a problem in your hometown anymore. This isn't just like, hey, time out, pause. This is part of your campaign. So when you go back and this is how you appear in front of your people, that's right, the people who elected you mayor of South Bend, and you can't even instill confidence in them, then what does that say about your ability to lead an entire country? He just looked very small, reading from a prepared statement. And a woman's like, and you're running for president? You want us to vote for you? And he says, I'm not asking for your vote. And at one point, it wasn't in this video, one of the participants asked him, he said, hey, do Black Lives Matter? And he says, of course Black Lives Matter. He says, what about a Black Lives Matter matters to you? What about a Black Life matters to you, Pete? And he says, the same thing that matters about my own life, which is pretty much an all lives matter argument, which will not fly in the face of people holding signs that say Black Lives Matter. It's just an unacceptable thing to say. Now, I do believe all lives matter. It's goofy to think otherwise, but it's the wrong answer from what I've experienced and what I've seen. You can't go in front of folks and say that if you're Mayor Pete Buttigieg, whatever his name is, Buttigieg, and appear this way. It looks bad. And so that was not good for old Mayor Pete. And that's going to get brought up on Wednesday and Thursday during these debates. And that's what we're going to see. This is all like coverage of the Super Bowl. It really is. All week long. All about the debates, all about 2020. But of course, there's plenty to keep up with on the Donald Trump side of things. We've got Iran. You've got this deal with ICE and the deportations and the roundups of illegal immigrants. We're going to get into that in a little bit, as well as, tons of stuff. What happens when you have to rename a school because it's named after a Confederate general, but you don't have the money for new signage? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But coming up, Wayne Risher at the Daily Memphian has a long, detailed, in-depth, thorough account of the battle for Tom Lee Park. And we're going to get into that, and we'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
KWAM is saluting our seniors all month long. Here's Jimmy Grubbs, publisher of the best times on today's seniors.
Seniors today are not just sitting home and watching television. They're either staying active in business or with family or volunteering. Yet in the past, we thought seniors gave up and went home, but they're out there today. They're by far the most affluent demographics of all. Individuals and firms that do not recognize that are missing a great opportunity. They have the buying power and the time to devote to financial things that are important to them.
KWAM salutes our seniors. Brought to you by Robin Wood Retirement Resort, an all-inclusive senior living community that is the perfect choice for your luxury retirement living. For more information, call 901-381-8949. Ave Maria's Rehab Greenhouses, personalized care in a home environment. For more information, call 901-386-3211.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
Renew, refresh, and rejuvenate in Ave Maria's Rehab Greenhouses. After surgery or a hospital stay, you want to get back to your normal lifestyle. If you can't recover at home, Ave Maria's Rehab Greenhouses provide the transitional care you need to heal mind, body, and spirit. Experienced staff offer physical therapy, speech, and occupational therapy. Enjoy private suites, chef-prepared meals, therapy garden, and more. Ave Maria's Rehab Greenhouses, personalized care in a home environment. For more information, call 901-386-3211.
Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion.
For baby boomers, here's something to think about. Will you have enough income during your retirement? Are you absolutely sure? Do you understand the difference between growth and income? How about bonds and bond funds? Are you 100% ready for RMDs? Do you have an estate plan? If you've said no to any of these, we can help. Right now, log on to theretirementincomeDoctor.com and tune in our brand new radio show right here, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.
The June edition of The Best Times is now available, and as always, it's filled with valuable and interesting information. There's one article everyone in the Mid-South should read about how and why to protect your identity, especially using your smartphone. Also, there's an interview with the new CEO of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce, Beverly Robertson. The Best Times is available at over 250 locations, including all Kroger stores, CVS pharmacies, the YMCA, and your local library. Pick up your copy and keep yourself informed. You'll be glad you did.
All right, welcome back.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on YouTube and, YouTube, streaming live. Follow along on Facebook and on Twitter. You can get it all straight. There's so much and so many ways to hop into the Nation of Jake. All right, in a little bit, what happens when you have to rename a school but you can't afford the sign? Easy solution to that. I'll have it for you in a few minutes. Right now, though, I'm going through this article written by Wayne Risher over at the Daily Memphian. entitled Saving Tom Lee Park. Now, he goes in depth on the whole debate regarding a redesign of Tom Lee Park, the site of both Music Fest and Barbecue Fest during Memphis in May. He starts out, kind of gives a quick description of Tom Lee Park, and I think he does a good job. Going to Tom Lee Park is like going to the beach. It's vast, with just several dozen trees scattered across about 24 acres. I don't know how many trees are on a beach, maybe palm trees, sure. He says it's short on well-defined human-scale spaces. The Memphis River Parks Partnership wants to change that by pouring $60 million into Tom Lee Park. The stated objective is to create a world-class park that accommodates Memphis in May throngs, but also caters to year-round users with more trees, land contours, and amenities. All right, so they just want more features at the park year-round than it just being the blank slate for Memphis in May. That's been well established as the debate over Tom Lee Park. So he goes in and he's got all the different players, all the major players in this. The president and CEO of the Memphis River Parks Partnership, Carol Coletta, who says, we've got the best river, but a lousy riverfront. She says, we own it, it's clean, it's sitting there waiting for us to make it great, and that's our opportunity. But the Tom Lee Park plan has stirred fierce debate with predictions of doom for signature Memphis in May events, Barbecue Fest, Music Fest, and the plan, which is said to be based on input from 5,300 people and 65 public meetings. It's generated a protest, a petition at change.org to save Tom Lee Park, which has gotten more than 4,000 signatures, and a Facebook group has more than 2,200 followers. So if we're talking about a plan that's gotten input from 5,300 people, and then you've got opposition, which could number anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000, then there's some pretty significant debate around the Tom Lee Park redesign. But when you go through this, and when I say this is thorough, I mean it. Wayne at the Daily Memphian, he wrote like 25,000 words on the whole dust-up between Memphis River Parks Partnership and Memphis in May, and there are a lot of different perspectives here. All right, and a lot of good information as well when we talk about this. So the standoff is between two of the city's more prominent nonprofit organizations, being the MRPP and Memphis in May. Both are overseen by large boards of notable Memphians. Memphis in May has the additional clout of a large contingent of community volunteers and barbecue team members built up over the years. So Memphis in May kind of has this following, these fans who count on Tom Lee Park being the place they go for Music Fest and Barbecue Fest. All right, so Memphis in May, they raise their revenue through events and sponsorships, while the partnership is quasi-governmental, undergirded by about $3 million a year in city funding, according to Wayne Risher here in the Daily Memphian. A project backer and Memphis philanthropist Pitt Hyde says he wants Tom Lee Park to be a downtown bookend to Shelby Farms' Heart of the Park, which his Hyde Family Foundation also championed. If you've been out there, the Heart of the Park, Shelby Farms, awesome. Hyde Lake, you got the boat launch, you got the visitor center, you've got the path all around it. It's awesome out there. It's great. Shelby Farms is great for what it is. And I've kind of said, yeah, you got, the Hyde Family Foundation, they did the Shelby Farms thing, they will replicate that and do that downtown. And this is like the first time I've really heard Pitt Hyde come out here. He's usually a guy who hangs back. I had not heard much from Mr. Hyde since this whole debate started. Now, he says, does Pitt Hyde, anybody who thinks for a minute that I'd be supportive of anything that was going to diminish the area as far as the use of Memphis in May is sadly mistaken. So this is the main backer of the whole Tom Lee Park redesign, is saying I would not do anything that would diminish Memphis in May's presence in Tom Lee Park. Now, it all comes down to the design and how much Memphis in May is willing to give up. Jim Holt over at Memphis in May, he says that, look, we agreed to cut it back by 20% as far as the ability to, take people out to the park and or occupancy. We agreed reluctantly to cut back 20% on that. But now, looking at the design, they're like, we can't even do that. So this is all shifted to Mud Island. where Jim Holt says Mud Island is the front porch to Memphis right there. It's got a lot of the infrastructure they're wanting to add, including water features and whatnot. Memphis in May supporters, they're open to improvements that don't hurt the festival, but they say that the plan doesn't provide enough space. So, honestly, man, you can get into it if you want. I mean, all these names come up. Todd Adams, real estate agent, former owner of Newbies, and barbecue festival proponent. He started the petition. He says they sat down with the nice folks with the Memphis River Parks Partnership and were pretty much told, hey, you don't know anything. You don't have the information that we have. So you just kind of take a seat, listen, and then be on your way. And so if you want to get into the real guts of it, but honestly, I read through all of this, 25,000 words, and all it really says to me is there is no compromise. There is no compromise now that Mayor Strickland has halted the mediation. He had appointed a former Tennessee Supreme Court judge to mediate and come up with a working solution between the two entities. Well, that's off the table now. The mediation's not happening. Army Corps of Engineers has to get involved. There's no compromise here. If you talk to people who have been involved in this kind of stuff, it's pretty cut and dried. We've got Lenderman. Is it Benny Lenderman, who used to be the head of the Memphis River Parks Partnership back in the day when it was the Riverfront Development Corporation? He says you can have a super nice park, or you can have Memphis in May, but you can't have both. He's straight up saying that no, you can't have both of these. The design as it is, with all those features, is not going to accommodate Memphis in May. Talk to John Malmo, Archer Malmo. John Malmo, the advertising executive who led the old Memphis Park Commission, he sees benefits to the park plan. He also says, but from what I saw, it would be impossible to have Memphis in May after they landscaped it if it's anything at all like the model that everybody's seen. So, look, it comes down to money, money, money. Who do you trust, right? I mean, who do you trust? Do you trust the Memphis River Parks Partnership, or do you trust the folks at Memphis in May? Memphis in May doesn't want to change anything. They don't want to have to re-engineer the way they do it. They've been doing this festival or some incarnation of it for 40 years. They're already going to have to, for at least 1, maybe 2 years, move it somewhere else. Who would want to change? It works for them. So they're saying, listen, the way that you have it redesigned, we can't get in there and do what we need to do as we do it. And they really don't want to change. And so if you're somebody who is a supporter of Memphis in May, the barbecue festival, and you don't want it to change either, of course, you're going to say, oh, this quasi-governmental nonprofit, Memphis River Parks Partnership, they're just going to screw it up like they did with Beale Street Landing. You know, like we've been taking for a ride on all these projects. Look what Mud Island has become. It's in disrepair. They can't even manage Mud Island. What makes you think that they can implement a redesign that is not only going to be good, but also going to accommodate Memphis in May? You can even go back to the Pyramid. The Pyramid was supposed to be the biggest deal in the world, wasn't it? Transform the skyline. It did that. But it wasn't very good for concerts, and it wasn't very good for basketball games. I guess it was fine for a while, but then it was made obsolete by the FedEx Forum just a few years after. Then it was falling apart and shuttered for years and years before the city gave Bass Pro Shop $30 million to do something with it. So is it just another one of these projects that somebody in a high-profile position wants to get done because it's, as Carol Coletta with the Memphis River Parks Partnership says, it's clean and it's there and it's ours for the taking? Well, hold on a second. If it's clean and it's there and it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, then why do anything? Because she's gone on record as saying she would move Memphis in May out of Tom Lee Park. That, hey, if you want to get into somebody's intentions, it was years ago, in Memphis Magazine, she said, if it were up to me, I'd move Tom Lee Park I'd move Memphis in May out of Tom Lee Park. And so that doesn't make the Memphis in May folks feel like she's operating in good faith. So if you like this whole debate, and again, I mean, the movement to save Tom Lee Park, so to speak, is growing. I mean, people are starting to pay more attention. It's in depth. I mean, I'm really impressed with the way that Wayne Risher went in on this, and you can check it out at the dailymemphian.com. And then there's the whole Corps of Engineers deal. and this is a chicken-egg situation. The Army Corps of Engineers needs more engineering details to review the project, or it can't get done, because Tom Lee Park was built specifically to protect the riverside and the bluff from the currents and the flooding there by the Mississippi River. So anyway, the Corps of Engineers needs more funding. More information. And the plan is only about 10% complete. They needed to be 60% complete before a review. So it can't happen, but they're not going to be able to complete the plans until there's a compromise, but the mediation has been cut off. So this is not going to get done anytime soon. The big part of this, and the only part really that matters to me, is funding. Now, this is where it gets kind of goofy. We're told that this is being funded by private donors, largely funded by private donors. But in this article, it says here that the Memphis River Parks Partnership has gotten $10 million from the city of Memphis and $10 million from the state. And they're also seeking $10 million more dollars from the county. It's a $60 million project. Now, I'm no mathematician, but if you take $10 million from the city, $10 million from the state, and then you get another $10 million from the county, one half of this will be funded but with public dollars. So this becomes a public project, and it can't be decided just by 5,300 people over 65 meetings. And more realistically, it comes down to a handful of high-profile, deep-pocketed Memphians who are calling the shots on this. If it's going to be $30 million in public money towards a project like this affecting a park in downtown Memphis, it needs to get in front of the city council. Because I know that there are folks in the city council who really don't want to do anything to jeopardize the relationship or Memphis and May's presence in Tom Lee Park. I just don't think you can have it both ways. You can't call it privately funded if Pitt Hyde is throwing up $5 million and the city, state, and county is throwing up $30. Partially privately funded, fine. There are some private donors involved, but man, $30 million is a lot of money, and that's our money. I mean, you're getting pinged for it 3 times, especially if you were a citizen of the city of Memphis, getting hit city, county, and state levels. So a lot covered in that article. But honestly, bottom line is there's no compromise right now. As of now, no compromise, no mediation going on. So this is going to be a long fight. It's going to be dragged out and knocked down, drag out fight for Tom Lee Park. There's a solution right there. I mean, not to the park issue, but the name Tom Lee. And if you got a school or something that is named after General Robert E. Lee, and you want to change it, you can just rededicate it. That's at least what one school is doing, just pretty much to save money on signs, because signs are expensive. We'll talk about that next right now, right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News update. The Trump administration has pulled the trigger on a new wave of sanctions on Iran, including the blacklisting of top officials and billions more in frozen assets. White House counselor Kellyanne Conway.
We can't disrupt global oil markets because of Iran. I mean, Iran attacked, they had a lot of aggressive actions just last week. Obviously, our drone over international space, but also attacking a Japanese tanker while the Prime Minister of Japan was in Iran.
Correspondent Major Garrett.
What's key about these sanctions is that they are not only, as the president said, directed at the supreme leader, but they do not in any way further sanction the flow of oil through the Gulf to European allies of the United States, which was something the administration was considering. What that means is these sanctions are not as aggressive as they could be economically to try to shut off all revenue sources to the Iranians from oil sales.
CBS News update. I'm Jim Chenevey.
Did you know that your potential customers look at your website and determine your credibility within 8 seconds? Make sure your business reflects the quality service you provide. Contact Control Alt Design for a free quote today. Today's marketplace is very competitive and you need a professional web presence. Control Alt Design offers web design at a fraction of what the larger firms charge. Control Alt Design has been helping local businesses stand out on the web for over 20 years. They also offer logo design, business card design, flyers, brochures, and more. See their work today at ControlAltDesign.com.
Appella is a nonprofit organization that is committed to the promotion of independence among their clients. Many seniors are not ready or do not need to move to an assisted living facility, but they need some help to continue living in their own homes. Appella's team of care specialists provide assistance with daily tasks that become difficult as our bodies age. Appella is locally operated and serves the North Mississippi area. Call them today at 662-429-3652 or visit appella.org.
If you're in need of a professional cleaning service that takes your business as seriously as you do, call Jan Pro Cleaning Systems today. They understand how important it is to establish and maintain a professional image. That's why they offer the Jan Pro Signature Clean and the Jan Pro Guarantee. From regular scheduled cleaning to the tough stuff like stripping and waxing, buffing, carpet extractions, and detail cleaning, Jan Pro does it all. Call today for a free, no-obligation quote. 901-683-4900. Insured and bonded for your protection. Jan Pro Cleaning Systems. Measurable cleaning, guaranteed results.
This is Clark Howard. I have a special warning for you, compliments of IBM, and it's that you better be careful when you're out and about plugging into those complimentary USB charging ports that you see at cafes, airports, hotels, all different kinds of places that offer you the ability to get a quick charge for your phone, because so many of us seem to have cell phones or other electronic devices that can't make it through the day. So the problem is, criminals know we're using so many of these, they're loading viruses onto those USB charging things. What should you do instead? Charge with a full cable that you have to plug into an electrical outlet. Or something that was so hot a couple of years ago and so not now, buy some of those rescue battery things that you carry with you and you plug in. They cost as little as $5 now. Then you know you have a safe source to charge.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come summertime, you can just sit back and relax. Home Advisor can help get you started. Home Advisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. Home Advisor can help with any home project, big or small, painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
Have you heard what President Trump said recently?
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Now you can watch Newsmax TV and get the truth about Trump from Bill O'Reilly, Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, and more. Newsmax TV is America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in 70 million homes. Find Newsmax on DirecTV, Dish, Xfinity, Spectrum, Optimum, Fios, Uverse, and more systems. See Newsmax TV today. It's real news for real people.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on YouTube, Nation of Jake on YouTube, Nation of Jake on Facebook and Twitter as well. All right, in this era of canceling people, it can get expensive canceling people. Here in Memphis, getting rid of those statues of Confederate generals, Nathan Bedford Forrest, I believe Jefferson Davis was one as well. It was expensive. I mean, getting somebody to come out with a crane and lift them up and take them away, it's expensive. Other places, you've got schools named after Confederate icons, Confederate generals, like Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lee Middle School, Robert E. Lee High School. You know, you see these things over in Virginia a lot where Robert E. Lee was from. Sometimes you see him across the United States. In Texas, there was one school called Robert E. Lee, named for Robert E. Lee, the high school. And so they made the change of the name to reflect modern times, as we're seeing a lot. But the problem is that school budgets aren't exactly getting bigger. And it seems silly, but the signage for a school or for a business, it's a major expense. It is. And it's not just as easy as going and painting over it. All right, we're talking about, letters that are affixed to the outside of a building. You're talking about backlit signs, scoreboards. It's expensive. when I worked in Major League Baseball, I had to manage a lot of different projects on the marketing side, on the radio side, and the radio station where I worked, and we had the rights to the Atlanta Braves radio network, we had to go out and make all these signs, and I was in charge of pricing them out, getting bids on them. $8,000 for a backlit sign made out of, steel and plexi. Kind of like a backlit deal that you would see on just any business when you drive down Summer Avenue, right? Expensive. So schools, when they change names, they don't always want to change the signs. So what they've done is something that I've advocated on this show months ago when Rhodes College made the decision, or talking about making the decision, to change the name of Palmer Hall at Rhodes College because it was named after Benjamin Palmer, who was some sort of racist clergyman from back in the day, at a time where everyone was largely racist. Still, they said, no, this will not stand. We're going to change the name of Palmer Hall. I said, don't change the name, just rededicate it to Robert Palmer or Jim Palmer or Emerson Lakin Palmer. Pick anybody who is not offensive named Palmer and then rededicate the building to be in their honor. Yeah, you could rededicate it to Jeff Palmer, who was a fantastic lacrosse player at Germantown High School in the 90s. So it could be Jeff Palmer Hall. He didn't go to Rhodes, but he's a good guy, and he's not a racist. All right, well, some high schools in Texas and around the country are starting to do just that. Yeah, check it out. The Northeast Independent School District in Texas was facing pressure to change the name of Robert E. Lee High School amid national protest over the legacy of the Confederate general. But officials were concerned that the estimated $1.3 million it would cost to remove and replace signs, redo a turf field, and order new uniforms and make other changes large and small. So they decided to rebrand the school Legacy of Educational Excellence, LEE. They used Lee High School as its nickname during the school year. The move, which included keeping the school's gray and red colors, saved about $1 million. $1 million. Taking Lee and just repurposing it. Lee is a very common name. You could just change it. Any Lee. Some great Lees from Robert E. Lee. You could rededicate the school, name it after Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, the martial artist. I would love to go to Bruce Lee High School. Where'd you go to high school? Bruce Lee High School. Oh, hell yeah. I want to go there. Stan Lee High School. How awesome would that? That would be amazing. Stan Lee High School with a fantastic art department. Have Stan Lee's characters adorning the high school. Red and gray. Who was red? Spider-Men. We are the Stan Lee High School Spider-Men. That would be fantastic. I would go there. I would be proud to have been a graduate from Stan Lee High School. Tom Lee High. Tom Lee saved all those people down at Tom Lee Park, the Mississippi River. Tom Lee High School, Spike Lee High School, the great filmmaker Spike Lee. Tommy Lee High School, the drummer of Motley Crue. That'd be awesome. Rock and Roll High School, Tommy Lee High School. Geddy Lee High School in the same vein, if you prefer Rush. Maybe if you're a high school in Canada, which I can't imagine a high school in Canada be named after Robert E. Lee. That said, maybe Geddy Lee High School. That'd be awesome. Cliff Lee, Cleveland, pitcher, lefty, other hand, lefty. And Geddy Lee's probably my favorite. I don't know, Stan Lee, can't go wrong. Just rededicate the names. Lee Majors High School. Boom. See, if you just listen to this program, because this was my idea. So if you just listen to this program consistently, you're going to find ideas that are going to make you money and save you money. Psst, same thing. Psst. Penny saved is a penny earned. Psst. Just letting you know. I'm on top of this stuff way before everybody else. So you should do yourself a favor. Listen to the Nation of Jake. Then do your friends a favor. Tell them to listen to the Nation of Jake, whether it be here on The Voice at FM 107.9 and AM 990, whether it be on the podcast, subscribe on iTunes and iHeartRadio and Stitcher and Spreaker and Spotify, or on the YouTube, Nation of Jake on YouTube, or on Facebook. You can get the Nation of Jake wherever you go on the old internet too. And I promise you, you will learn something that'll save you money and save you time, just like this. Stanley High School. Do it. Do it now. All right, coming up, we've got the NBA is making a very important change. They are banning a word. They are getting away from referring to the owners of NBA teams as owners. I'm going to tell you why and what they're changing it to next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Dan Groban and Phil Menard at Servant Advisors Group call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Servant Advisors Group at 855-260-1000 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 855-260-1000. Servant Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Servant Advisors Group, LLC. Insurance licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, and in Arkansas.
For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS.
That's the number that could save you up to 30% on your energy bills. Call today and Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning will hook you up with an AC tune-up. Right now, save $20 on an AC tune-up. Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning, your hometown Memphis tune-up pros.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
See website for license details.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
Since 1927, Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab has been invested in the health and happiness of each individual who enters their doors. They serve people and families of all faiths with compassion, dignity, and commitment. Named one of U.S. News & World Report's best nursing homes for 2017-2018. Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab was also named the #1 nursing home in the Mid-South by the Memphis Business Journal in 2019. Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab is located in a 77-acre park-like setting in Cordova. You can find out more on their website at memphisjewishhome.org.
All right, welcome back to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990. Streaming live on YouTube. Also the website, KWAMthevoice.com. The Listen Live link is in the top right corner. I saw this a few days ago. I knew this was coming, but it's out now. The NBA is going to change some nomenclature. All right. I'm not sure why, but we'll find out here. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner. By the way, Adam Silver from the NBA. It used to be David Stern, the NBA commissioner. Now it's Adam Silver. And the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, he looks like, remember the Bat Boy from the tabloids back in the day? What was the tabloid? Was it the Inquirer or the Midnight Star? Something like that. It was the Bat Boy. And he was all, and he looked like the Bat Boy. Adam Silver looks like a grown-up version of the Bat Boy. I'll get a side-by-side going so you can see it over there on the Facebook page. But yeah, he's a creepy-looking dude. Adam Silver said in an interview published Monday that the league, or the association, the NBA, has moved away from the term owner and said now they are referred to as governors. Team owners, we're talking about. Proprietors of NBA teams will no longer be referred to as owners, and they will be governors. Silver was stopped in New York by TMZ. He said he is sensitive to the term owner. Few NBA teams have dropped the term because of its racial component, and since most of the players in the league are black. So owner has a racial component. I did not know that. I know that slave owner has a racial component. I know that master probably has a racial component, but owner, when you're talking about the owner of a business, the owner of a team, the owner of a dog, the owner of a lonely heart, you think about these things, and none of them imply anything that has to do with race or a connotation of a race. You shouldn't say owner, according to Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green. He said that to HBO last year. Silver pointed to the Green interview and said that he completely respects his opinion on the matter. He did say some players took pride when Michael Jordan was able to call himself an owner and said players have generally gone both ways on the issue. Yes, players have generally gone both ways on the issue because generally players are not idiots. See, the term owner implies ownership. In this case, an NBA team owner, shortened to just owner, implies ownership of the team, of the organization, of the business, not of the human beings playing. Team owners in the NBA do not own the players. What they do is they pay the players handsomely to go out and play ball and give them an opportunity to make more money than 99.999999999 infinitely repeating decimal to make in their lifetimes. This is unbelievable. Like, we're allowing language to be hijacked like this. Yes, there were slave owners. Yes, that had a racial component. Yes, slavery was awful. But then to translate that the word owner, because it was applied to slave owner way back when, now is somehow racist, is absurd. And this is one of those deals where people are just going to start checking out, going, yeah, you know what? And the thing is, governor, a team governor, that doesn't mean the same thing. Call them the proprietors if you want. I love that word, proprietor. Yeah, you're the proprietor. I'm the business owner. I'm the guy. I'm the proprietor of this business, sir. I love that one. Call them proprietors. At least find a word in our vast language that means the same thing as owner if you think wrongly that owner somehow implies racism or has a racist connotation. It's absurd. It's like when Phil Jackson said something about LeBron and his posse, and that LeBron got really upset and says, I can't believe he used that kind of language. Oh, it's got racial this. I'm like, no. A posse was like back in the day in the Old West, a sheriff would get his posse together, a group of people. That was appropriated from Old West terminology. And it was used, sure, my posse's on Broadway. It was used in rap music or whatever. People need to get a grip. Adam Silver letting an interview with Draymond Green change language like that. It's absurd what it is. All right, coming up. Oh, yeah, the weekend in Trump. We got new sanctions on Iran, a delay in the ICE roundup. We'll do that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
KWAM, your news and information station with CBS News updates every hour on the hour. KWAM Memphis.
This is CBS News on the hour. Real news, real reporting.
I'm Jim Sheneby. The Treasury Department has announced a new round of sanctions on Iran 1 week after a U.S. drone was shot down by an Iranian missile. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin.
Along with our existing sanctions authorities, we have additional sanctions to go after the Supreme Leader's office and lock up literally billions of dollars more of assets.
More from correspondent Ben Tracy.
These sanctions do seem designed to hit the supreme leader of Iran directly, as well as his office. They seem designed not to try to impact the actual people of Iran, which then you might see some criticism, some pushback from American allies. So these do seem to be very targeted sanctions. We asked the president, are these in direct response to the shooting down of this drone last week? The president said it's partly for that. It's partly for other things Iran has done in terms of attacking those tankers in the Gulf there.
Iran's foreign minister and 8 top military commanders also being blacklisted. President Trump says it'll give Congress more time to change asylum law. He's postponed planned immigration raids. Correspondent Manuel Bojorquez.
President Trump's decision to delay the new raids followed an outcry from Democrats, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and many leaders across the country who oppose the president's hardline immigration policies. Now, despite the delay, those who are subject to deportation are still uneasy, and over the weekend, immigrant advocates expressed their support.
Meantime, the government has removed most of the children from that remote Border Patrol station in Texas following reports of inadequate food, water, and sanitation. The Supreme Court has eliminated a 100-year-old ban on foul language trademarks.
The justices ruled in a case that involved a clothing brand with an indelicate name. They said the ban on salacious trademarks violates constitutional free speech rights. The ruling goes against the Trump administration, which defended the law that had been in place since 1905 and rules in favor of Los Angeles streetwear designer Eric Brunetti. He had been turned down by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office when he sought to trademark his brand name, which is spelled F-U-C. Bill Rakoff, CBS News, Washington.
The driver of a truck involved in a New Hampshire crash that killed 7 motorcyclists has now been charged.
23-year-old Volodymyr Zukovsky was arrested at his home in West Springfield, Massachusetts. On a fugitive from justice charge, he faces 7 counts of negligent homicide. His pickup was towing a flatbed trailer when it collided Friday night with 10 bikers. State police say they found packets containing a residue suspected of being heroin in Zukovsky's residence when he was picked up.
On Wall Street, the Dow up 29. This is CBS News.
Would you risk your career or your life to go up against a big company if they were doing something wrong? Meet people who did. Whistleblower on CBS Friday.
Independence Day is a holiday of family celebrations with picnics and barbecues. It's an American tradition. The Noble Gold folks want you to celebrate this 4th of July with the official Trump Freedom Coin. Jobless claims are at their lowest since 1973, and the Dow recently hit a closing high. So it only makes sense to commemorate these milestone achievements with an official Trump Freedom Coin. On one side is an image of Donald J. Trump, while the other side lists all his major achievements. So whether you agree or love to disagree with him, you'll be missing out if you don't add Noble Gold's silver Trump coin to your collectibles. For less than $40 for each 99.9% silver coin, you'll be owning a piece of American history. This commemorative 1-ounce silver coin is the only presidential Trump coin made. It's real silver and IRA approved. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com and use code HONOR to get $5 off now. Do it now. Don't miss it. It's TrumpCoin2020.com. Use code HONOR for $5 off. TrumpCoin2020.com.
Lotto luck in North Carolina.
Most of the time, 0 means a loser. In the case of the North Carolina lottery, 0, several of them, meant a winner, and several of them as well. The North Carolina lottery set a record payout after the winning numbers in a Pick 4 game were 0000. Nearly 1,000 $1 tickets were sold with those numbers that will pay out $5,000 to each winner. Another 1,000 tickets were sold for 50 cents, and they will pay out $2,500 each. Jim Crisilda, CBS News, Greensboro, North Carolina.
New research out of the University of Pittsburgh has found that people who undergo gastric bypass are 3 times more likely to die of drug or alcohol-related causes. It's believed the procedure, which removes 95% of the stomach, changes the way the body reacts to drugs and alcohol. Alcohol receptors exist in the stomach and the liver. Jim Chenevey, CBS News.
With the stock market at all-time highs, cash in your profits now and invest in an asset that can potentially pay for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC-defined accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. Call now to learn how you can potentially achieve 20 or more years of income and deduct 100% of every dollar invested against all forms of income. Call 1-800-803-8511. Invest in your future and buy oil. Encore is drilling in an area that is potentially one of the most prolific horizontal oil plays in the entire country. Oil prices are projected to rise, so you need to own a piece of an oil field. Encore Energy is the most active oil and gas operator in its core area of operations. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 1-800-803-8511. You will be calling directly to the home office of Encore Energy. That's 1-800-803-8511. Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary.
Jake, where'd you get those boots?
But he's got meat between his ears. Yeah.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, sir.
Yes, have some.
All right, welcome back to it, the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Listen live, link is in the top right corner. We're also streaming live on YouTube, Nation of Jake on YouTube, very easy to find. You can also hook up with me on the Facebook. Go like the Nation of Jake page, send me a message, send some hate mail, send a love letter, whatever you want to do. Also, you can tweet at me like Carlos does on the Twitter at Nation of Jake. All right, coming up in a little bit, we've got the news cruise, all the headlines fit to print. I will go through them. Oh, also, a development in the battle mayoral. That's right. It's weird because the mayoral elections in Memphis are on these weird odd-numbered years. I think this has something to do with Willie Harrington having stepped down and there been a special election. So, yeah, in 2019, it's like this 2015, 2019, and 2023 will be an election year for mayor. So it's kind of off and it's kind of odd because usually you have, city elections they fall around the same time every 4 years, but, it's in a 2019. But the battle mayoral, there's been, like I said, a little bit of a dust up. Not so much a confrontation. I don't know. That's a little strong. Let's say that Mayor Strickland, the incumbent, and the challenger now, Willie Harrington, they've crossed paths. All right, they crossed paths over the weekend. And it was like gentlemen, but kind of like a slap in the face. So I'll tell you who slapped who and how the other responded here in a few minutes. But we can't get out of a Nation of Jake program without addressing the elephant in the room. And that elephant in the room is always Donald Trump. That's right. Donald Trump, he governs everything. I can't say that he owns the real estate in your head anymore, but he governs it, right? Donald Trump rules the headlines. He would prefer it that way. He's kind of the mind that you'd rather have them talking about you than not talking about you. That said, we've got plenty that's very relevant for any president who might be in office to talk about today. Now, last week, we discussed the Iran situation, which I go back and forth now. I call it Iran or Iran. On this program, I like to say Iran. Iran has been causing all kinds of trouble. The cycle has so far been that they are suspected of blowing up oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. All right, then they said, hey, we're going to exceed our enriched uranium allotment, and we're going to violate our deal with Europe, and there's really nothing you can do about it. You got 10 days. There's probably about 3 days left on that whole deal. And then they shot down a U.S. surveillance drone. Donald Trump almost responded. Donald Trump was like, I had the planes in the air ready to strike. Then my generals told me 150 people would die, and I thought better of it, Iran, whatever you prefer to be called. We'll do it the opposite way. Iran, I don't want to kill you guys, and I don't want a war, so I called off that strike. But I can't not do something. You shot down a drone, guys. I have to respond in some way. And that response has come in sanctions, kind of like I said last week. they don't like the sanctions. They would love to bait you into a war. Don't give them the war, give them more sanctions. Give them more of what they don't want. So, President Donald Trump announced today new sanctions against Iran in retaliation for the downing of the U.S. drone last week. Speaking to reporters in the Oval Office, Trump said he signed an executive order imposing hard-hitting sanctions on Iran that will deny Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and others access to financial instruments. That's right. They will not be able to get their cash flute. The financial instruments being banking. They will not have access to funds through banking, freezing accounts, cutting them off. Personally, the supreme leader Ayatollah, which, by the way, if you live in a country where the leader is called the supreme leader, your country is not a place you want to live. Could you imagine that? Supreme leader Trump. Woof. So, we will continue to increase pressure on Tehran, Trump said. Never can Iran have a nuclear weapon. Trump told reporters on Saturday that the punitive measures were coming. Some of them are already in place, Trump said on the South Lawn before departing to Camp David on Saturday. We're putting additional sanctions on. They're going on slowly and in some cases pretty rapidly. They're going on slowly, but kind of fast. Good God. But additional sanctions are being put on Iran. Not long ago, Trump was in the White House. He had this to say about the new sanctions.
America is a peace-loving nation. We do not seek conflict with Iran or any other country. I look forward to the day when sanctions can be finally lifted and Iran can become a peaceful, prosperous, and productive nation.
Okay, that's fair, right? We don't want war. We want to live in peace, but you guys can't have nukes because you're awful. You're ruled by a supreme leader. Therefore, you cannot have nukes. The people of Iran don't want the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei to have nukes either. In fact, talking to Ron Hart about it last week, I was looking it up. As recently as 1979, about when I was born, 40 years ago, all these nice folks in Iran, they were just living their lives. The women were wearing skirts. It was like, beach blanket bingo or whatever in Iran. Everybody's having a good time. It looked pretty modern. And you look at some of the same sites is when you saw those photos back in the 70s. You look at them now, they're all in ruin. It was like a really nice place to live at one point when they weren't ruled by a supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. So, I'm sure that there are folks over there in Iran going, yeah, this place sucks. Like, secretly, they could never say it. They're like, yeah, I hope Trump does sanction the hell out of Khamenei, freeze his bank accounts and whatnot. Because the people of Iran aren't having a very good time being ruled by a supreme leader. I'm just happy that Donald Trump doesn't have his finger on the button and he's just, waiting to put, because that's been the deal. Like, when Donald Trump ran for president and when he eventually won the presidency, people are like, oh no, now we're going to be at war with every country in the world. And that's not true. That's not what has happened. In fact, he's shown great restraint. We had more military kinetic action going on under the Obama administration. Remember Libya? Yeah, Libya, Gaddafi was a bad dude. But he hadn't made a lot of noise in years and years. And for whatever reason, one day, President Obama and Hillary Clinton running the State Department said, oh yeah, we're going to bomb Libya. We're going to depose Gaddafi because it's time. You remember the Lockerbie bombing? Yeah, that was like in the 80s. We're going to do that now. And then, the whole thing with Egypt. The whole, let's take down Mubarak. Let's go. It's like, wait a second. Destabilizes the region. Because I'm of the mind, look, a lot of these countries, guys like Gaddafi, guys like Mubarak, they're not good people. They take a lot of aid. They take payoffs from other governments. And they're not good, but they stabilize the region. Now, if you're just all for going around and building democracy everywhere, you're one of these neocons who thinks that, yeah, our way of life not only is the best, we know that, but it's also the way of life that everybody else should enjoy in the world, regardless of their political culture. If you're one of those people, then yeah, go take out every guy who's not an angel and then see where it gets you. because somebody worse can rise up. We saw that in the 70s. We had the Shah of Iran, who we conveniently installed. And it goes back to that, man. We meddle too much in the world. Shah of Iran, he's our ally, but he commits some human rights violations and stuff that we're not into. And so he gets deposed. He gets dethroned. And so then comes in Ayatollah. And then Iran goes into this hardcore theocracy. And it's been no good ever since. They've been a foe. And it's a shame. But that's not even all that's on Donald Trump's plate. Donald Trump's got not only that to deal with. He's got the threat of a nuclear Iran. He's also got immigration, which more and more people are calling the number one issue for them. Number one issue being immigration. Donald Trump delayed these nationwide ICE raids to deport undocumented immigrants. He's going to allow Congress 2 weeks to work on a new deal. He announced that Saturday. He says, at the request of Democrats, I've delayed the illegal immigration removal process, deportation, for 2 weeks to see if Democrats and Republicans can get their together and work out a solution to asylum and loophole problems at the southern border. If not, deportations will start. So they do not want that. They don't want to go out and rip families apart and pull people out of their homes. Because here's the thing about it. A lot of people who are here are hardworking people who just want to live here and not cause any trouble. That's the fact of the matter. All these hardliners on immigration, I'm not sure where the narrative came from that people who come up from Mexico or people who come from the Dominican or people who come from other places, Cuba, that somehow they're lazy and they're leeches. That is goofy. I worked in staffing for a long time. Some of the hardest working dudes who came through who just wanted to go work in a warehouse, who just wanted to go make some money, send a little bit at home, and just live free of getting their heads cut off by drug dealers and stuff are from those places. All right, so there's a way to manage this, and that's what needs to happen. It needs to be managed, but I've always said that there's no money in the cure. There's no win in the solution. If they work together and solve it, then it's not a problem anymore. It's not what they can run on in 2020. And we're talking about both sides here. Whoever wants to fearmonger the most on this whole immigration thing. But the whole idea that, there are problems. There are drug dealers coming over. There's crime coming over. The drug stuff, I kind of go back and forth. Yeah, I don't want the poison to come through, but the poison's coming through because people here like doing the poison. I've gone on record. On record. Who's keeping the record, by the way? I don't know who's keeping the record, but there's a record of all this stuff. The drugs are coming into this country because people like to do drugs. If people didn't do so many drugs, the drugs wouldn't find their way here. They would find their way to a place where people like to do them. All right? Just because the border is porous doesn't mean the drugs are coming here just because. It's called supply and demand. There's a supply in Mexico and other places, and there's a demand here for the drugs. So stop with the whole, drugs are pouring over. The border argument, most of them are pretty bad. Pretty bad arguments. Do we need a secure border? Sure. Because there's crime and there are criminals who are coming over and hurting people. That small contingent of the criminal element of immigrants needs to be controlled. It needs to be eliminated. But as far as, there's people coming over here doing jobs other people don't want to do, it's okay. They're not hurting anybody. Well, let's get them in. Let's find out who they are. Let's document them. Let's assimilate. Let's be a country. Let's do it that way. And that's a completely different segment of this program. I want to get into something that I read about, and that's just kind of like a little bit of an account by Bill Dries over the Daily Memphian. It's not as in-depth as Wayne Risher's Daily Memphian stuff, but the political picnic, Sidney Chisholm's political picnic, which sounds like an awful event I would never go to. There was a confrontation between Mayor Jim Strickland, Mr. Strickland, and Willie Harrington. I want to tell you how that went down. It was awesome. All right, that's coming up next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The voice voice. KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
Appella is a nonprofit organization that is committed to the promotion of independence among their clients. Many seniors are not ready or do not need to move to an assisted living facility, but they need some help to continue living in their own homes. Appella's team of care specialists provide assistance with daily tasks that become difficult as our bodies age. Appella is locally operated and serves the North Mississippi area. Call them today at 662-429-3652 or visit appella.org.
ATC Fitness would like to announce their new partnership with Silver Sneakers. That's right, ATC Fitness now accepts Silver Sneakers members. ATC Fitness is your local, family-owned 24-hour gym. Get started on the right track with their easy-to-follow instructions and demonstrations. Remember, if you are a Silver Sneakers member, come to any ATC Fitness throughout the Mid-South. Check them out online at atcfitness.com to find the nearest location to you.
At Amish Excellence, they specialize in custom-crafted solid hardwood furniture. Their furniture is made in the USA by Amish craftsmen with deeply held beliefs in integrity of workmanship and concern for lasting beauty, built to last for generations. They'll love working with you in choosing the perfect design to create your unique furniture. Amish Excellence, 3601 South Houston Levee Road. Exquisite furniture, reasonably priced, remarkably superb, and uniquely yours.
Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion. When you're planning an event and need on-time delivery, call Odell Sanders. Sanders Catering has been in business for 31 years, specializing in breakfast, lunch, dinners, corporate, and social events. When you need a caterer to work with your budget, call Odell Sanders at 901-372-2631 or visit them online at sanderscatering.com and take a look at their menu. Sanders Catering, a leader in catering services. Call today at 901-372-2631. Miracles are happening in genetic testing and disease screening. As they say, knowledge is power, and Momentum Community Care offers you a chance to get early detection of cancers you may be genetically inclined to, and help develop a preventative treatment plan if needed. It's called CGX and PGX screening. The best news is that it's fully covered by Original Medicare Part B and most insurances. Call Jason Abbott at Momentum Community Care now for more information at 901-218-4425.
All right, welcome back.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com here on Monday, trying to catch up from the weekend. One thing going on today, happening today, other than, all the Trump stuff on Iran, which is big and breaking news, more sanctions. Also, the Women's World Cup, the U.S. women's national team against España, the Spanish national team, and the women survive. They win. They move on. They won 2-1. There was one goal, I guess, scored in minute 7 by Megan Rapinoe. And then in the 74th minute, maybe 75th minute, another. So 2-1. That's close for the U.S. women because they're usually like, beating people like 19-2 and 7-6 and stuff like that. It's not a lot of goals. That's more along the lines of a real soccer score. 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, keeping it low scoring. An exciting match for those who are into that kind of stuff. The only reason I care is because it's America. U.S. women's national team. It's America, right? It's an excuse to let your jingoism out. Are you into jingoism? I am. Love jingoism. I just love the word jingoism. That's why I'm like, yes, Women's World Cup. Hell yeah, America. I don't care if Rapinoe sings a national anthem. She's still American, fighting against some dirty Spaniards. So here we go. We've got, let's see, over the weekend, and I don't get out a lot on the weekends. My weekends consist of just like taking my kids around to karate stuff. We had a karate donuts with dad little event where I got to run around with my kids and do some obstacle courses, pool parties and stuff, let the kids swim. It's summertime. It's nice out. Little hot for me, but I do a lot with my kids on the weekend. So you probably wouldn't find me at the Sidney Chisholm political picnic. I really can't think of a place I'd rather not be than a political picnic. Hey, Jake, you want to come out to the picnic? Oh, sure, cool. What's the whole deal? We got some bands playing. We got some baskets. We got some food. What do we got? Oh yeah, we got all that kind of stuff. Oh, by the way, it's a political picnic. So on a Saturday, now we know you do a Monday through Friday show where you talk a lot about politics, and people are always hitting you up on Twitter about politics and telling you you're an idiot. You want to come out to a picnic on Saturday? It's a political picnic. I say, no, thanks. You can keep that. Let me know when you do a picnic that's not political. Well, this was the 19th annual Sidney Chisholm political picnic. Sidney Chisholm, of course, former Shelby County Commissioner. It was in southwest Memphis. Now, this picnic, from what I'm told, is open to Democrats. It's open to Republicans and independents. I wonder if it's open to Whigs, the old Whig party, or Federalists. Is it open to Libertarians? Because if it's not, I'm sure as hell not going to that one. It's common to see rivals in the same race cross paths during the 5-hour event, 5-hour political picnic, with everybody roaming around. Everybody's kind of, it's not like real structured, I guess. You go out, you have some peanut butter sandwiches out of your picnic basket, and then you argue about politics or whatever. Sounds like a great time. That was the case, though. We had Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland.
Mr. Strickland! Mayor!
And former Mayor Willie Harrington, who was among Strickland's challengers in this year's nonpartisan city elections. So, Strickland, Harrington, just a few feet from each other. Harrington says about Mayor Strickland, and I quote, "I have a great respect and admiration for Mayor Strickland. I respect his integrity and his passion for Memphis." Very nice things for Willie Harrington to say about Jim Strickland. But I really believe that the challenges that face the city today are way over his head. And I say that respectfully. Oh, you can't say that respectfully, I don't think. Can you? Talking about Jim Strickland again. Willie Harrington says, "I respect his integrity and his passion for Memphis, but I really believe that the challenges that face the city today are way over his head," and I mean that respectfully. You know what's funny? People do that all the time. It's kind of like the whole Ricky Bobby thing with Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights. So I said with all due respect. It's like say something that is really disrespectful, but preface it or follow it with all due respect. Because that's what Willie Harrington just said. You cannot say that the challenges that face the city are way over his head and say, "I mean that respectfully." Because essentially what you're saying is the man's inept and cannot face the challenges that he was elected to face. You can't say that respectfully. He went on, does Willie Harrington. "If we don't get a handle on crime in a real aggressive way, then Memphis will be not the type of city that we want to live in. I don't know what happened in our infrastructure. I've never seen such deterioration of roads." Now that's hilarious. Because Willie Harrington, who was the mayor for 17 years and largely responsible for the crime and the crumbling infrastructure is going, man, I don't know what happened. I mean, the crime is out of control and the infrastructure is crumbling. I don't know what happened. Who the hell was mayor before you, Jim Strickland? Well, A.C. Wharton for a few short years, but largely you were the mayor, Willie Harrington. And so Jim Strickland, because he's a gentleman, he said that he was told about Harrington's remarks, and he responded by saying his comments are not directed at Willie Harrington. Now, mind you, he prefaces this by saying, okay, I would respond to you, and this is not directed at former Mayor Harrington, but he says, what we're dealing with in crime and roads is a neglect that happened over the last decade. We have a huge backlog in roads. We've doubled the paving budget, and we're making up for lost work of the past. For decades, our young people have been neglected. That's why we have to intervene in their lives. But it's not directed at you, Willie Harrington. You see how this is kind of going down? You got a couple of guys who play in the game a little bit right now. They're trying to be nice. They're at the political picnic. They don't want to make a scene. They don't want to get into a brawl at the old political picnic. But what do you expect? You have a picnic and it's going to be political. You name it, the political picnic. People are going to make these kind of comments at one another. So I just think it's funny. I mean, he's either not being honest or he's completely unaware. Willie Harrington saying that, oh man, yeah, crime's out of control. And by the way, infrastructure's terrible here. Yeah, I know I was mayor for almost 20 years. I know I was mayor for most of Tammy Sawyer's life, but I didn't do this. I left it better than I found it. No, you did not. No, you did not. But Jim Strickland saying it's not directed at Harrington, but I don't know. Former mayors screwed this place up and neglected it. And you were one of the former mayors. So I'll say it for you, Jim Strickland. Those comments were directed at Willie Harrington. And you should not have made that condition. You should not have prefaced with, this isn't directed at... What are you going to do? Blame it all on A.C. Wharton, who was mayor for 5 minutes? Was he mayor, 6 years? Harrington, was he A.C. Wharton? He was, how long was he mayor? I forget. 2009 till 2015? Yeah, about 5 or 6 years. It was A.C. Wharton. I'm not so sure you can blame him for a lot of the problems that are happening now. Or you could. I mean, maybe Willie Harrington and Jim Strickland both get together and just beat the crap out of A.C. Wharton. Well, why not? And that way you can just say, hey, I'm not saying bad things about Harrington. I'm not saying things bad about Strickland. Just go kick the crap out of A.C. I don't think he deserves that either. Not the best mayor, but not a bad guy. Meanwhile, Harrington was dismissive of the third major contender in the mayoral race, Shelby County Commissioner member Tammy Sawyer. She has every right to run, says Harrington. This is a democratic process. Obviously, she has no experience to take on a leadership role like this. So, I mean, that's pretty blunt. And he's not wrong on Tammy Sawyer. Tammy Sawyer is very loud. She knows how to get in front of cameras. She knows how to jump in front of parades. She knows how to express platitudes and not so much policy. But she doesn't have the experience to lead a city the size of Memphis. And that's just a fact. She's been a county commissioner for something like 8 months. It probably just takes a little bit more than that to be experienced enough to be the mayor of Memphis. I'm just saying, this is a little early for her. But Memphis can't wait, she says. So I think it's early. Listen, nothing against, I'm not railing on her intellect or her age or anything like that, but she is relatively new to politics. She was just elected last November to her post as a commissioner. How's about you do that job for a while, get some results, because it takes more than just getting in front of cameras to do the job of mayor. I mean, Jim Strickland was on the city council for years and years, and that is a logical jump from city council to being the mayor. So he has a lot of political experience. Willie Harrington was in government with the superintendent of Memphis City Schools which was then later fell apart. And then he was the mayor of Memphis. And now he wants to be mayor of Memphis again after he ran some other schools into the ground. So this is going to be fun. The Battle Mayoral coming up in October. What's going to be fun is September. September is going to be fun. And then it's the big payoff, October 3rd, going on here. Strickland talking about this political cycle, these Battle Mayoral. He says the public doesn't seem to be engaged for one thing. He says, I think they agree Memphis has momentum, which is his campaign slogan. He says, I think they're happy about what's going on. We all recognize we have more challenges, but they think we are heading into the right direction, says Strickland of Memphians. That satisfaction may be part of the reason people are not as engaged. Maybe it's morning in Memphis, to borrow the slogan from Ronald Reagan's 1984 campaign. Harrington, though, he has a different opinion. As the challenger says, his political base remains strong. He says, does Harrington, and it's always good when he speaks, Memphis has always been a race-conscious city. Well, how can we not be when people like you will never let us forget? Shake the haters off. We need a mayor who looks like the people. That kind of rhetoric. It's not that we're race-conscious. It's that the elected leaders will never let us forget. He says people vote along racial and party lines. This election, you're going to see a greater diversity. I'm predicting you will see Willie Harrington get more white votes than you would imagine. Well, I guess we shall see. We shall see. But the conventional wisdom is, if you want to be gross and break it up into black and white vote, which that's part of politics, you've got a challenger, Tammy Sawyer, who is black, and you yourself, Willie Harrington, you are a black man, and then you've got some other challengers who will court some of that black vote that you like to talk about so much. I'm not sure it's going to work out well for you. But if you think you're going to get a bunch of white votes in Memphis, we shall see. I don't like breaking it down like that. It is dirty. Politics is dirty. So I don't go to political picnics because I don't like picnics that are dirty. Who wants to eat dirty picnic food? All right, coming up, we've got the news cruise. Yeah, so local headlines. We'll take a leisurely look at them, and we'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News Update. President Trump has hit Iran with a new wave of sanctions, including freezing billions more Iranian assets and blacklisting more military and government officials.
America is a peace-loving nation. We do not seek conflict with Iran or any other country. I look forward to the day when sanctions can be finally lifted and Iran can become a peaceful, prosperous, and productive nation.
The new sanctions come a week after Iran shot down a U.S. drone. Correspondent David Martin.
The United States military is in sync with the president on that. It is not looking for another Mideast war. But the strategy here is one essentially of economic warfare against Iran, trying to cut off every source of revenue, every channel of dealing with the rest of the world's financial institutions.
CBS News Update. I'm Jim Mishanove.
When you're planning an event and need on-time delivery, call Odell Sanders. Sanders Catering has been in business for 31 years, specializing in breakfast, lunch, dinners, corporate, and social events. When you need a caterer to work with your budget, call Odell Sanders at 901-372-2631 or visit them online at sanderscatering.com and take a look at their menu. Sanders Catering, a leader in catering services. Call today at 901-372-2631.
Renew, refresh, and rejuvenate in Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses. After surgery or a hospital stay, you want to get back to your normal lifestyle. If you can't recover at home, Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses provide the transitional care you need to heal mind, body, and spirit. Experienced staff offer physical therapy, speech, and occupational therapy. Enjoy private suites, chef-prepared meals, therapy garden, and more. Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses, personalized care in a home environment. For more information, call 901-386-3211.
Brown Properties. They specialize in commercial and industrial real estate in all of North Mississippi.
He helped me locate a space and helped me get in so easily. The most professional, most accommodating person that I have ever worked with in my professional career.
I would absolutely recommend Jim Brown very highly. As a matter of fact, he'll be my real estate agent from now into the future for sure.
Hi, I'm Jim Brown with Brown Properties, Commercial Industrial Real Estate, located in South Haven, Mississippi. Call me at 662-393-2255.
Miracles are happening in genetic testing and disease screening. As they say, knowledge is power, and Momentum Community Care offers you a chance to get early detection of cancers you may be genetically inclined to, and help develop a preventative treatment plan if needed. It's called CGX and PGX screening. The best news is that it's fully covered by Original Medicare Part B and most insurances. Call Jason Abbott at Momentum Community Care now for more information at 901-218-4425.
This is Clark Howard. I have a special warning for you, compliments of IBM, and it's that you better be careful when you're out and about plugging into those complimentary USB charging ports that you see at cafes, airports, hotels, all different kinds of places that offer you the ability to get a quick charge for your phone, because so many of us seem to have cell phones or other electronic devices that can't make it through the day. So the problem is, criminals know we're using so many of these, they're loading viruses onto those USB charging things. What should you do instead? Charge with a full cable that you have to plug into an electrical outlet. Or something that was so hot a couple of years ago and so not now, buy some of those rescue battery things that you carry with you and you plug in. They cost as little as $5 now. Then you know you have a safe source to charge.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come summertime, you can just sit back and relax. Home Advisor can help get you started. Home Advisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. Home Advisor can help with any home project, big or small, painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. Have you heard what President Trump said recently?
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
Now you can watch Newsmax TV and get the truth about Trump from Bill O'Reilly, Mike Reagan, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, and more. Newsmax TV is America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in 70 million homes. Find Newsmax on DirecTV, Dish, Xfinity, Spectrum, Optimum, Fios, Uverse, and more systems. See Newsmax TV today. It's real news for real people.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990. We're online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. You can go catch me on Facebook and on Twitter, all at Nation of Jake. It's time to jump on the news cruise. Yeah, leisurely look at the headlines. It's brought to you by our friends at Just Windows Home Services. They're online at justwindowsmemphis.com.
Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The news cruise, full of exciting news. The news cruise. So relax and kick off your shoes.
All right, welcome aboard the News Cruise, brought to you by Just Windows Home Services. If you need your windows clean, they are definitely the guys to do it. None better than Just Windows. They also can clean your ceiling fans and chandeliers, change light bulbs that are maybe a little bit too high for you, maybe outside on those gutters. You got some floodlights need to be changed out. And the gutters themselves, look at them, they're disgusting. They need to be cleaned out, especially after the storms we got the past week and the other night. And that's where, mosquitoes can hang out, and nobody wants that. And also look at your patio, it's disgusting. Get them to pressure wash it for you. They offer a range of services, including gutter cleaning and pressure washing here for the summer. So give them a call, 751-3934, 751-3934. You tell them Nation of Jake sent you, get 20% off your free estimate from Just Windows Home Services. 751-3934. First up in the headlines, out east. Looks like the city of Germantown will not be purchasing the Germantown Country Club. Mayor Mike Palazzolo said that the city bid $2.49 million for the property, smack dab in the middle of G-Town. He says, we're disappointed that we were not chosen. But we had to live within the parameters and the guidelines given by the broker and the trustee. He said that the process had been a blind bid process. Palazzolo said Germantown did not make it to the second round of the bidding process. So now, Mike Palazzolo is not going to be able to bulldoze that golf course and build all those apartments right in the middle of Germantown like he wants to. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's the caricature. That Mike Palazzolo is there with his apartment buddies just sitting there waiting to knock down all the houses and build apartments. We'll see who gets it. But they're going to have a question of how it's going to be zoned. I think that the Germantown Board of Aldermen have made it very clear that it will be zoned for residential use, single-family homes. So there you have it. The Germantown Country Club is not going to be owned by the city of Germantown. They missed out on the bid. Hey, today starts the back-to-school immunization drive. Already talking back to school here at the end of June, but it's important, especially now, in this climate with all the anti-vaxxers out there. You get a back-to-school immunization drive, and it's good because you can't go to school in Shelby County unless you got your shots, which is great. The official start of summer may have just been a few days ago, but Shelby County's officials are already thinking ahead to the upcoming school year. Children that will be entering preschool, kindergarten, 7th grade, or those that are transferring to a school in Tennessee will more than likely need some sort of immunization, according to the Shelby County Health Department. Adults heading off to college will also need to get certain shots ahead of time. So what they've done, they're hosting the back-to-school immunization drive beginning today, and they have gotten the band The Offspring, which is a really popular band from the 90s. Their album Smash was huge in 1994. They have modified one of their old hits in order to boost awareness of the immunization drive. Remember this one? If you remember this song. Yeah, here we go. You gotta keep them vaccinated.
All the kids have rashes, and they sniffle and sneeze. All about contaminating the classroom, bringing back an antiquated disease. All the anti-vaxxers living in Southern Cal. An outbreak of the measles almost killed Mickey Mouse. If a parent thinks a shot will make a kid autistic, she's gonna pass it up, pass it up, pass it up, pass it up. Hey, get that kid away from me. Get his shots. You gotta keep them vaccinated.
Yeah, you gotta keep them vaccinated. As The Offspring said way back in the day. So that's the official theme song of the back-to-school immunization drive. Oh, check this out. New Daisy Theater, an icon, a legendary place on Beale Street, a place where I pretty much grew up in my music career. Well, the owner, who is in all kinds of trouble with trying to keep it open, it was shuttered. There are all these allegations of guys not getting paid. Well, it turns out that he's been arrested. The guy who owns and operates the governor of the New Daisy Theater, you can't use the word owner anymore, Steve Adelman, is facing charges for writing almost $20,000 in bad checks to a promoter for a 2018 concert, according to Memphis police, and he has been arrested for writing those bad checks. He was charged with theft of property, $10,000 to $60,000 in value. He posted a $3,000 bond on Saturday. Former employees of the New Daisy said they quit because of issues with their pay around the same time. So when you don't pay the acts for coming in and playing, and then you decide to write them bad checks, you get arrested. I hope that there's some sort of movement to get Mike Glenn put back in charge of the New Daisy. Because I'll say this about the New Daisy, when Mike Glenn ran it, we always got paid. When there was money, it wasn't a lot, but he never wrote us bad checks. And so everybody liked Mike Glenn. I mean, I like Mike Glenn. Most people like the man. And so he should be in charge of the Daisy as long as he wants. Or maybe even Mikey. Maybe even Mike's kid. He's an all right dude, too. I just hope the New Daisy comes back to its former glory. It's too good of a room. It's too good sounding a room not to have mid-level rock and pop acts coming through there on Beale Street. Oh, we got some headlines of people causing trouble. A landlord in Memphis facing charges after investigators say he attacked 2 of his tenants and their friend at their Binghamton home twice in one night. John Gannon is charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault after he attacked the tenants with a shotgun and a machete. It's not the first time he's been in this kind of trouble, and not the kind of landlord that you want. You want people to renew their leases. They're not going to forget about the time you attacked them with a shotgun and a machete. This one here, out on Houston Levee, there was a wreck, and a violent sex offender was caught giving a ride to a young girl after he got into a wreck. That's some awful luck for him, and also awful luck for her. What are you doing getting in the car with a convicted sex offender or with anybody that you don't know? So he wasn't caught until after the accident, and I'm glad he was. We don't need guys like that picking up young girls. A Memphis woman reported that she was raped. The suspect who had returned to the scene, he says that he did not rape this woman. He said that he and the victim sometimes role play where no means yes. And he says it's called urban love. And he went on to say that a judge won't believe this because they don't understand urban love. I've never heard of urban love. I'm from the suburbs. But in suburban love, no means no. This is an awful story for this woman, but also just a creepy and weird explanation by the suspect. And then we've got, nothing else really good. Tonight, don't forget, they are putting on a star-studded rendition of a play based on the Mueller report. A star-studded cast including John Lithgow, Alyssa Milano, Alfred Woodard, and Annette Bening, and many others are going to perform the play based on the Mueller report. A search for the truth in 10 acts. It's called The Investigation, written by Robert Shanklin. The work is by Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Shanklin is based on the Mueller report, and they're going to have a play. And this is going to be a disaster. Kevin Kline, Joel Gray, Gina Gershon, Zachary Quinto, Kira Sedgwick. Pretty big names. Piper Perabo, Michael Shannon, Jason Alexander. Let me guess. They all don't like Trump. I'm just guessing there. I'm pretty sure this is an anti-Trump presentation. And there you go. There's your news cruise for this afternoon. I'm going to come back, get you set up for the Earl Farrell program. Before we go, we got to have a little bit of a discussion over who's the biggest baller. There was a situation on an airplane where 2 big ballers kind of met. And we got to determine who's the biggest baller of these 2 big ballers on this airline. We'll do that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
KWAM is saluting our seniors all month long. Here's Jimmy Grubbs, publisher of The Best Times, on today's seniors.
Seniors today are not just sitting home and watching television. They're either staying active in business or with family or volunteering. Yet in the past, we thought seniors gave up and went home, but they're out there today. They're by far the most affluent demographics of all. Individuals and firms that do not recognize that are missing a great opportunity. They have the buying power and the time to devote to financial things that are important to them.
KWAM salutes our seniors. Brought to you by Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab, near Forest Hill Irene and Walnut Grove in Cordova. 901-758-0036. Providence Assisted Living in Senatobia. Quality senior living in a caring environment. Call 662-562-9229.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
Since 1927, Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab has been invested in the health and happiness of each individual who enters their doors. They serve people and families of all faiths with compassion, dignity, and commitment. Named one of U.S. News & World Report's best nursing homes for 2017-2018. Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab was also named the #1 nursing home in the Mid-South by the Memphis Business Journal in 2019. Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab is located in a 77-acre park-like setting in Cordova. You can find out more on their website at memphisjewishhome.org.
I'm Ed Parami, the owner of JanPro, the franchise that helps you be your own boss. JanPro is now the fastest growing franchise in the entire world for the second year in a row by Entrepreneur Magazine. We are growing so fast we need new business owners right here in Memphis right now. So if you want to be your own boss and open your own business, call JanPro at 901-683-4900 to see just how easy it is to be your own boss. For as little as $950 down, you can be a part of JanPro. Don't waste another minute. Call 901-683-4900.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lynn Doyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lynn Doyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
When you're planning an event and need on-time delivery, call Odell Sanders. Sanders Catering has been in business for 31 years, specializing in breakfast, lunch, dinners, corporate, and social events. When you need a caterer to work with your budget, call Odell Sanders at 901-372-2631 or visit them online at sanderscatering.com and take a look at their menu. Sanders Catering, a leader in catering services. Call today at 901-372-2631.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on YouTube. You can also catch up with The Nation of Jake on Facebook and Twitter. We just got a few more minutes here before we turn it over to the Earl Farrell program, about 10 minutes or less away from Earl. We have a story. This happened on an airplane. All right, Cam Newton, you know Cameron Newton, the Auburn star, also the quarterback now for the Charlotte Panthers in the or Carolina Panthers of the NFL. Big man, right? 6 feet tall, 6'6", I think. 6'6". Cam Newton, he gets on a plane. You know, the guy's got to have the leg room, right? The guy wants a seat with leg room. And he's a big baller. He probably hops on the airplane. He's got his Beats by Dre headphones and whatnot. Well, he's on a flight, international flight, I guess, and he wants to be comfortable. The seat he has doesn't have quite as much legroom as he wants, so this baller decides to offer $1,500 for another guy's seat. All right? So Cam Newton gets on this plane. He offers another passenger $1,500 to take his seat, which appeared to offer more legroom. But unlike what most of us would have done, I'm taking a $1,500 and I'm crunching into whatever seat Cameron Newton was assigned. All right, I'm taking the money. I can deal with being crunched. This guy said, "No, I'm not accepting your $1,500. I'm staying in my seat." There's a video of this. It shows Newton pointing to a seat that's already been taken, a seat that seems to be in a row without seats in front of it. A seated passenger appears to shake his head at the athlete. Newton then walks to another seat a few rows back to settle in for the 10-hour flight. This was a flight from the U.S. to Paris. And it'd be very hard to, number one, part with $1,500 over a seat. I mean, that's baller status. Earl, you're a big man. How important is legroom to you on a flight? It's got to be pretty important. All right, is it?
Yeah, because I don't have a lot of leg room in there.
Right.
You get in your seat, and my knees are touching the seat in front of me.
Sardines, right? Yeah. And you're a big man, so you can relate to Cam Newton
10 hours
here.
like that, and a lot of times if it's rough, they won't let you get out of your seat to stretch your legs.
No. So $1,500. I mean, are you balling like that? Would you be able to offer?
Ball, but I would sit there and say, look.
No, not like balling, like
just a plane.
No, like you're a big baller, shot caller.
Oh,
I mean, you're
shot caller.
balling. That's what I'm saying. Like,
terminology.
how much is it worth to you? How much would you?
Well, on a transatlantic flight from the United States, a 10-hour flight, you could bet a first-class ticket would cost you $1,500 more than a
Okay,
coach
so
ticket.
you're saying, it was a good
Yeah.
investment by Cam Newton if you
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
But how big a baller are you if you can turn it down?
The guy didn't need the cash.
Right, exactly. Hey, I'm flying to Paris. I'm in my seat already.
I'm taking it.
I got 10 hours. Keep your 1,500 there, Cam Newton. All right, that actually happened. Unbelievable. All right, Earl's up next. I'll be back tomorrow at 1. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
CBS News at the top of every hour. Serving Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. The latest news stories are here. This is KWAM Memphis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans.
I'm Jim Shenevy. The Treasury Department has announced a series of new sanctions on Iran 1 week after that Iranian missile took out a U.S. drone. They include billions more in frozen assets. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin.
These are highly, highly effective on locking up the Iranian economy. And as the president said, we look forward to a time in releasing sanctions if they're willing to negotiate.
CBS's Major Garrett.
The administration had to